What's up, y'all? You already know this is Koi from Ray of Gratitude, and I want to talk to you guys about ants. You're probably like, what, ants? I just want to tell you about the story of, what was this, like last week? I was just chilling. I was like, you know what? Did all my work this week. It's time for me to just chill the out. I didn't really have anywhere to go, but I just wanted to kick my feet up and watch TV. And honestly, I'm a big kid at heart. I like cartoons. And well, I don't need to describe or explain why I like cartoons. I like cartoons, and I really haven't really been watching them in a long time. So I was scrolling, and I came across the movie Ants. Pixar or whoever, DreamWorks, whatever, did this. And I was cracking up. I'm like, And it brought me back to a moment when I was young. I don't know if I was in middle school or I don't remember what grade I was in, but I remember, I remember the time where we were done with all our work. You know, usually it was like Fridays, but we'd be done with all our classwork, and I can't even remember the teacher. She just would put on, movies for us to watch and just chill out, and we'd have snacks and just be chill, right? Not thinking about work. So I was like, Tap, let's do this. So my spirit was telling me something about my inner child, because I don't know, I just heard the word inner child and I laughed because you don't always have to, there's so many different ways to tap into your inner child, you know what I mean? And through psychology, they teach people to tap into their inner child for healing. But I like to express that there are so many different ways to heal. And I really want to break that stigma of people thinking you're crazy or you whatever because you need healing or you need therapy. Like, honestly, in this day and age, in what is this, September, October 2020, in the year of 2020, if nobody thinks that they need therapy, I think you need to think again. Think again and ask what type of therapy you need. But going back to ants, I'm like, let's watch this. It just brought me into that state of mind, and just when I was in grade school or whatever and just chilling. There's so many different ways to heal, and really get therapy. And that day, my therapy was through a movie called Ants. I'm going to pop in the beginning opening scene because it really spoke to me. Like, they were in the whole setting of the therapy session, and I was like, if spirit ain't speaking through to me right now, so let me just go through this.
All my life I lived and worked in a big city, which, now that I think of it, is kind of a problem, since I always feel uncomfortable around crowds.
I worked in a big city too. And during that time when I was working, it opened me up to understanding my sense of sensitivity that I have around people. And short story again, like, I didn't notice, like, I've always had this claustrophobic type of thing I never really liked, but I used to party, be in clubs, and go to what is that, and go to concerts and stuff, and it's mad people in those type of settings. But, like, honestly, like, especially in my early 20s, like, you're drinking, smoking, doing a little whatever. You're not really sitting there thinking about other people. You're just having a good time. But, like, during my hustle and bustle and working, I was picking up so much energy from New York. And the anxiety, that's all I'm going to say. Let's go back to ants.
I mean it. I have this fear of enclosed spaces. Everything makes me feel trapped all the time. I always tell myself there's got to be something better out there, but maybe I think too much. I think everything must go back to the fact that I had a very anxious childhood. My mother never had time for me. When you're the middle child in a family of 5 million, you don't get any attention. I mean, how's it possible? And I've always had these abandonment issues which plagued me. My father was basically a drone, like I've said, and the guy flew away when I was just a larva.
And I found this funny because I'm sure a lot of people can relate to, and um, I'm going to speak towards a certain culture. As Black people, we feel the anxiety from yay high because of just so much crap that we have been through in America as Black people. And it has been passed down from generation after generation. Speaking as a human race, ancestors, it gets passed down after generation until that one person, like this aunt, I think his name was Z, chose to actually get out of, think out of the box, think out of his colony, and really do something and really listen to his intuition, which is talked about later in the movie. They didn't describe as intuition, but that's how I'm breaking it down. But and us as entrepreneurs, as artists, and anybody that is highly creative is always looked at as, you're special, or you're different. Looked at as this red dot on a whiteboard. At least this is my interpretation, because society as a whole really, honestly, moves like how this aunt, this whole movie is. I just think it's freaking hilarious to watch this as an adult.
And my job, don't get me started on, because it really annoys me. I was not cut out to be a worker. I'll tell you right now. I feel physically inadequate. My whole life, I've never been able to lift more than 10 times my own body weight. And when you get down to it, handling dirt is not my idea of a rewarding career.
And when Z, this aunt, is talking about is not his idea as a rewarding career, what? As a highly creative person, when you don't have the ability to create from your soul, it feels so stifling. It makes you feel fucking crazy, okay? And especially if you're becoming more aware of who you are. Please don't let me get into that. Speaking of artists, too, for generations, artists have always been sought out. If you do have this ability to be creative and free flowing and just tapped into your own spirit, many times we have been shoved money in our face and really been manipulated to use our creative skills for the betterment of someone else instead of ourselves, or the greater cause, as in the human race, or in this case as the ants colony. But it's like, really, if you ever have experienced when you went on a job, because I worked for a press, right? Reading the contract. I've also worked for another high publication thing in New York. When you read the contract, you cannot, anything that you do, anything that you create is now that company's. And this has been shown, well, actually it's not shown, but even in the music industry, this is what happens. In any artistic realm, 9 times out of 10, you are, your whole artistic, or what is that called? Intellectual property is taken away from you. And if you don't, as an entrepreneur, if you don't own your shit, what do you have? Usually a small ass percentage that is so devalued from your whole being. So, like, what I'm trying to do for artists is really give that self-care that helps them cultivate their worth, their value, their confidence, and really their purpose, to really understand who the They are. Like, really, tap in. You know, as above, so below. Go within so you can find and understand things on the outside. It is such a paradoxical world that we live in. And if you don't get it, it's cool, but you're about to be awakened to it because it's 2020. All right? And there's so many new things that we have. And even the most person, I'm not the person that knows everything. I'm not here to say that I know everything, but I have went through a hell of a process through my entrepreneurship, my journey of experiencing a lot of life lessons that were meant for me and that I could not have learned anywhere in a book, in a class, in a university or anything. I could not have learned that. It was my journey to learn. And that's the thing called life. We gotta understand that. And a lot of shit gets thrown at you. I know it does. And it makes you cringe. But you have, especially when you're aware of what's going on and how your light is dimming, you have to take responsibility to change that, you know, to heal that. You have to figure out the ways that you want to heal it. Because you may not want to talk to a therapist. You know, you may not want to talk about it at all. And this is why I love art. This is why I love creating things, because that expresses, you know, our throat chakra is all about self-expression. All of our main chakras really give portals, opens us up to understand at a higher level of understanding of what we were doing when we were low, down, and out. And I just wanted to share that with you, how I was cracking the up when I was watching this. You know, it's like when I was younger, I just was like, Dad, you had a messed up life. And, you know, and I'm like, yeah, it must be better. Like, I can't wait to be an adult, because I kind of thought that that was the bigger thing or the greater thing out there. No, it was told a lie, right? But I did find out that it's up to me to find my own happiness. It's up to me to create a life that I want to live in, even though that I may have a whole bunch of debt, even though that the government may tell us a bunch of lies, even though that there's a lot of things that we don't have any control over. But knowing myself more on a deeper level helps me understand the things that I can control. And basically I can control my own self, my own being, and my own knowing, especially to do better.
It's this whole gung-ho superorganism thing that I can't get. I try, but I don't get it. I mean, what is it? I'm supposed to do everything for the colony, and what about my needs? What about me? I mean, I gotta believe there's some place out there that's better than this. Otherwise, I would just curl up in a larval position and weep.
And he's talking about adulthood. It reminds me kind of men, the ego part that, you know, gun hold, what did he say, super organism or whatever? I don't know. But, not even just men. As an adult, like, you know, just that perfect life, family, picket fence stuff, that stuff is crumbling, as we can see now. And I don't know, watch the movie.
The whole system makes me feel insignificant.
Excellent. You've made a real breakthrough.
System
I have?
and insignificant.
Yes, see.
Two
You are
words that,
insignificant.
I am?
should I say more? I just wanted to share that with you guys. I wanted to just laugh for anybody out there that does watch cartoons, or just anybody that knows this movie. And if you don't, like, watch it. Like, it's crazy how much symbolism they have in this video. It's crazy. But, you know, a lot of cartoons honestly do that. And that's for another story, because, yeah, I was reading something about what cartoons do, especially like those adult cartoons, or most cartoons are actually for adults anyway. But I'm not going to get into that. We're going to stick here. So check out my Patreon page that is all about self-care and soul connections. I have a couple of tiers that allow you to relax your mind, your heart, and your soul in numerous ways, and allow you to get some one-on-one time, self-reflecting time with me. That I can give you some tips and some ways to really open up and help you tap into your creativity, or help you remove any blocks that may be stifling your creativity. So, oh yeah, and guess what? There's some goodies that I have that I give away as well. So check it out, patreon.com/Koy, Quoy. Peace.